Hello everyone! This is a bit of a different video from usual. Anyway, how do you play a song in drop D in standard tuning? This is, gonna be hard to explain on a guitar. I probably need a piano for this. I had a keyboard somewhere, I can't find it. I'm just gonna explain it on a guitar. I don't know how the audio is gonna sound this far out either, so it is what it is. So to understand even what I'm talking about first, to anyone who might be watching this, not that I ever really get views anyway, music is depicted with notes, and they're just the alphabet from A to G. There's 12 of them, 2 of them can't be sharp. I swear this makes sense eventually. The musical alphabet starts on C. Why? I don't know. Ask the Europeans of the middle centuries. Big surprise, we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That's major. It doesn't much matter, but that's what it is. I swear this all pertains to what I'm talking about today. So that depicts your key. Your key is important because that tells you what notes are correct or wrong. So if I'm saying I'm playing in the key of C, that means I'm just staying to these notes. If I can even play it correctly. So that means, more or less, any chord I play is gonna sound in key as long as it starts on them notes. Because that's how it works. But what happens if I play a chord that's not in those notes? Well, that's how you get... Oh, that's the wrong note for sure. So if you want to think about it like you were still in your original key, that don't sound too good. How does this all pertain to what I'm talking about? I'm getting there, calm down. What I'm talking about is essentially playing in the key of your open strings, so no hand on the guitar. That's called E standard. And of course, there's a bunch of different ones. There would be E flat, which is everything the same, and of course then there's D standard, and of course there's every standard for every flipping note that the lowest you can go and then match all the rest of them. Drop D, I told you it was related. Drop D is the same tuning as E standard, but instead of E, which is that lowest one, I'm not going to explain tuning to you yet. Instead of that being an E, it drops down to being a D. I know I went up. I'm not detuning for this. So then, obviously, in the tuning of drop D, how do you play things that aren't drop D? Is this making any sense? I just want to talk about this, and I don't think it makes any sense. How would you play something in that tuning without being in that tuning? Well, you don't, but you kind of can. You can. The thing about the guitar is that it's a bunch of strings ham-fisted into being an instrument. It's a lot of bullshit going on here. So what I mean by that is, on a piano, you have one of each note for every octave. Me, editor me, slam a picture of a piano up there. Yeah. On a guitar, we have this bullshit. We have an E here, an E, here. So 2 E's there. Then of course we have another E that's going to be around here. And then that one. Don't tell me you see this and think that it's normal. This is stupid. This is not an instrument. So what does this allow us to do? It allows us to do stupid things in turn. Stupid things happen, we mess up, and we find out. I would say the actual word, but we're probably not 8 minutes in. I've only been recording for 10. So what do I mean when I say drop D? I've already explained tuning to you. Pay attention. Drop D is the same as standard, but you take this... I'll tune down. Taking this lowest one and dropping it down past E flat to D. A little sharp. There, this is drop D. You'll notice I'm still playing what it sounded like earlier when I was playing that. That's because drop D doesn't do anything but bring our hand from having to do this to make a bar chord to doing this. Simple. Not really. It does a lot with the sonics of it, and I'm not going to explain all of that. So what do I mean when I say take something that's supposed to be played in drop D and play it in standard? Well, I can explain that 2 different ways. So you can look at it for individual notes and plentiful notes. Individual notes would be something like... And of course, for that, obviously, we just lowered this string from this being E to this being E, that from being D to that being D. Obviously, we just play it one more note up. Obviously. But I'm saying, how would you play something that's a lot more, not complex exactly, but something that's requiring the layered sound? How would you do that? So we're going to look at Everlong. You know, that's topical, right? Everlong by Foo Fighters is in drop D. It's not able to be played in any other way. So here's what you do. In drop D, it's got this finger, and then this one. And it drops here. Then it goes back up. So ultimately, you get the pattern. I'm messing that up because I'm hearing it on delay. It's kind of weird. I swear I can hear it. Hold on. Fuck! You get the point. Pretty simple when you're just playing it in drop D. When you're playing it in E, you have two problems that pop up. I now got tuned back up. This video is suddenly becoming a lot more of a pain in the butt than I thought it would be. So we're going to run into one main problem here, and that's a very simple problem. Our lowest note is now lower than we can produce, because typically in it, it's... But you can just hear that. That ain't right. So then, what do we do in this situation? Well, it's very simple, you idiot. You just play it. You just play the D that's right here. Screw with the note you're supposed to play. Just play the octave. It's that simple. It's not going to sound exactly the same, but people are going to know what you're going for. Alright, so that's the first chord covered. How the hell do we do the other ones? Well, once again, hey fathead, you have multiple ways to play the same note, and that note kind of moves around depending on your thing. So what was once here is now just lowered. So we play those same notes from before, because those two strings, they don't get moved when you're playing in drop D. So these stay here. This one, that was lowered. However, now that we're back in standard, that one is just two spots down. They're frets. I don't know that I said that earlier. Each spot is called a fret. So now, because we're back in standard, that note gets moved back down to where it was before we tuned down. So we go. And hey, that sounds exactly the same as it did before. So does that. It's almost like that's how guitars work. So essentially, you have the movement now to be able to just... Okay, that's all well and good, but skipping past, because the entirety of the verse is exactly the same, then it gets to the, well, I wouldn't say bridge, but it gets to the, no, I would say bridge. Then it gets to the bridge, where it's, again, exactly the same, but now it has... So then, what do we do for the rest of it? Because the next part, the very next part is... Except that D is ringing out the whole time. That might be a problem. So what can you do? What am I supposed to do? Well, this is where you say, hey, I have no way of moving my left hand and holding down this D here the entire time. Not to mind the fact that it already starts so far away. Also, those are the same. So you can't do it. I mean, I'm sure someone can, but I can't. And if you're watching me to understand how the guitar works, I know for a fact you can't. So what do we do? Well, this is where you try to understand the purpose of a note more so than the sound of it. Because music is complicated, man. They have two different meanings because screw all of us, I guess. So, back in drop D, that thing that I already played before was... Alright, so pretty simple. It just has a D droning as we go octaves up. I Again, this delay is really messing with me. Just that drone as we octave up. Very simple. However, does it matter? Does the note of that drone matter? Kind of, but because it's just droning as we change the chords around it, not really. So why am I mentioning this? Well, for one reason. Those are octave E's. I'll give you a cookie if you can remember what the original standard tuning is. That's called E standard. That's right, E standard. So now we have, back in our original tuning, E. Hold on, still in tuning, man. Don't mind me. Back in original tuning, we have E, E, and E. Well, shoot, if you remember what I was telling you about keys, Everlong, by the way, being in D major. What that means for our key is, hey, we can play E, and it's not going to sound wrong. And that droning note is more so just to give depth and resonance to the sound. How do I know this? Because I've spent far too much time learning guitar. So it's less about what note that drone is, and more the fact that it's there to begin with. The only problem is, now we have... Ew, that landing note does not... There's something wrong with it. What's wrong with it? Why is it so bad? Very simply put, it's very bad because all of a sudden, now our lowest note does matter. It's not just about adding texture, it's about adding actual sound. So what do? Well, we play the right note. Remember that thing earlier I said about just lowering the note? Yeah, do that. Just do that again. So now, all of a sudden, we went from being like, oh, I can't play Everlong by the Foo Fighters in standard. Oh, well... I hope this video made any semblance of sense, but I am not too sure about that. Goodbye, everyone.